Hare Krishna, Dandot Pranam to all the assembled devotees. Let us start our day with prayers to Shri Radha Govinda and our Guru Parampara. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamahyam Dadadi Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapadakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathan Vitam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalitam Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरंगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरूपस्य च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय गुरु महाराज की जय गुरु परंपरा की जय नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam to all the assembled devotees. Thank you very much for taking out your time Monday evening. Yesterday we could have continued our Nectar of Devotion chapter 3-5, but I felt it was a very auspicious day. Vyasa Puja celebration, most auspicious day of our Guru Acharya Srila Prabhupada. And I felt it is important to know the glories of Srila Prabhupada by devotees like Namanista Prabhu. Until and unless we do not know the glories of Srila Prabhupada, we will not appreciate his sacrifices, his preachings. I'm happy to see so many devotees from our class participated yesterday. Hope it was really worthwhile missing yesterday class and attending yesterday Vyasa Puja class from Namanishta Prabhu. Any comments from the devotees?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yesterday's class was actually very wonderful. Many points were very worth meditating on.
Yes, ma'am.
Especially one when he said that fish cannot be happy on the land. The same is the situation with us. We cannot be happy in this material world no matter what we do or try.
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Neither two things we are continuously doing in this material world. Yeah. One, we are trying to be happy in given situation and we are making others happy. We are trying to make others happy. It could be our family, it could be our friends, relatives, colleagues. Yeah. It is futile effort. Neither we will be happy nor we can make anybody happy. Right? Whatever we do, there is always a complaint. So that's a big realization from our yesterday's class. There are so many other realizations. We can continue to discuss anything the devotees who attended yesterday class wish to add. You can continue to add. So today session I thought I will start with Guru Astakam. It says Samsara Davana Lalida Loka Tranaya Karunya Gana Ganatvam प्रापत्य कल्याण गुणार्णवास्य वन्दे गुरु श्रीचरणारविन्दम् वन्दे गुरु श्रीचरणारविन्दम् वन्दे गुरु श्रीचरणारविन्दम्. I'm sure most of you know the meaning of this wonderful first stanza of Guru Astakam. It says, our spiritual master is receiving the benediction from the Lord, the ocean of mercy. And what is he doing with this benediction? Just like a cloud pour water on the forest fire, he is pouring the mercy on us. And what is happening in forest fire? Why it is compared to forest fire? Any inputs?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
A forest fire is not started by anybody, Prabhuji. It just happens on its own.
Yes,
That is like how the miseries in our life happen.
yes, yes. So we think we are trying our best effort to make the best out of our life in this material world, but out of nowhere we never know padam padam vipadam, where the next problem is coming from, right? And what is happening to the animals in the forest when the forest fire is happening? It is running helter and shelter without a direction. That is what we are also doing, right? We are trying to solve our issues with our own capacities without knowing where to go. By taking the shelter of our Guru, by his mercy, he is trying to extinguish the blazing fire in our life. So we offer our respectful obeisances with such a Guru Acharya Srila Prabhupada. When we talk about the mercy of Guru, the glories of our Guru Parampara, I wish to also recite one more shloka from Srimad Bhagavatam, which I have. It is one of my favorite shloka, and we have discussed this before as well. But still, these are something nectar we should continue to relish. So, shloka from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, shloka 20. Sorry, chapter 20 and shloka 17. Nrideham adyam sulabham sudurlabham plavam sukalpam guru karnadaram Mayanukulena nabhaswarateritam pumam bhavabdim nataretsa atmaha. Can anybody say what does this loka, what lesson it gives us? We have discussed this before about this loka. What is the key learning from this loka? Talks about atmaha, killer of the soul. Anybody wish to add? Anybody remember what this loka all about? Such an important sloka, and we have discussed this before. If you don't remember, please make a note. I'm happy to tell you the explanation one more time. Hope all are having your notes, pen next to you, making notes. Yes? No?
Yes.
Hare Krishna?
Yes, Prabhupada.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is a very important sloka to learn for all of us. It says the human body what we have received is very, very rare and compared to the boat. And the captain of this boat is our Guru. And the favorable wind, the boat to move further, it requires a favorable wind towards the destination. That is the mercy of the Lord. We have everything, right? By the mercy of the Lord, we have got this human body. We are coming to this Krishna consciousness moment, and we have got our Guru Parampara. Many have taken initiation from Guru Parampara. Many are aspiring. Many have taken shelter. And the mercy of the Lord is there. Still, if somebody is not making the best use of this bad bargain. What is the bad bargain? To get this material, the body in this material world is a bad bargain. But the best use of this bad bargain is to engage this body in service of our Guru and Gauranga. But still, if somebody is too attached to the material conditioning of his life, continue to be serving his senses, then such a person is known as killer of soul. Yeah, so this is a very important lesson we have to take. Please make a note of this. And then we will get into our last session discussion. Can somebody quickly give some key points from our last session? What are the key things we learned? Neha Mataji, I'll give you a chance. While any other who attended, in fact, it is 2 weeks back. Anybody remember? Open your notes.
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Yes, let us keep it short. Quickly, let us move further. So, Chanda Mataji, you want to add?
Yes, Prabhuji, we started with the instruction and two
Yes.
main things we discussed. That is reading and swadhyay, attentive listening. Then we discussed about the nectar, the meaning of what is the meaning of nectar, rasa and nalu, devotion or bhakti.
Yes.
Then we discussed about devotional service. Thereafter, we went more further that Amrita is like a permanent result, which is not, it is just forever. And when someone follows the process of devotional service, definitely the Amrita, the blessing of Lord will be there. Uh, then we discuss about six key points of nectar of devotion, where we learned about pariyojana, the ultimate goal, and the requirements to attain that goal, working of the purification of process, cultivation, and bhava bhakti and prema bhakti. Then we discussed about three stages of bhakti, that is sadhana bhakti, bhava bhakti, and prema bhakti. And then I remember the sadhana means like sadhana what we do. Very rigorously we are taking the sadhana like 16 round daily we have to chant. Then bhava, it should be no restriction, and prema, it should be the topmost. And then we discussed about the books of Srila Prabhupada and Srila Rupa Goswami, and also Sanatana Goswami. So after that, we also discussed about this Srila Rupa Goswami and Srila Sanatana Goswami, that they were the ministers in the Nawab Sah, that is Dabir Khas. We discussed about this. Then science of Krishna. So those who knows about the science of Krishna is actually eligible to get into the world of Krishna at the lotus feet. And then we discussed about the six characteristics of bhakti,
Yes.
where I remember only Shobda and one more, was that Sri Krishna Aksharani, like that. Two words
Shri
I have
Krishna.
written, though I was not able to write all.
Okay.
Uh, and
Good.
later on, we
You let us give chance
discussed
to
about
others.
the, yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, let us give chance to others. Okay, I see Jyoti Mataji raising hand. Jyoti Mataji, you want to add?
Yes, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
We also discussed about like the Krishna is the embodiment of all rasas. So total 12 rasas are there, 5 direct rasas and 7 indirect rasas. I will not name all them because we have to be a little short, Prabhuji. And we discussed the definition of pure devotional service. Then it has to be anya abhilashita sunyam, and it has to be anukule, not like Ravana or Kansa. And we discussed very important shloka sarvopadi vinurmuktam. It gives the exact definition that when we serve the Lord of our senses, so our senses also gets engaged into the service of the Lord, and there are two benefits of that, that we get uh, 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 we come out of the material entanglement, and our senses also gets purified, and devotees rise from the desire of even 5 kind of liberations also, Prabhuji.
Good, Mataji. Good. Very nicely you have captured. We'll give chance to others.
Yes, thank you, Prabhuji.
Anybody else wish to add before I give chance to Kalpana Mataji and Neha Mataji? Good. Kalpana Mataji, you want to add?
Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, conclusion from chapter 1, you explained that devotion or bhakti, we have to continuously endure mainly to please Krishna. And this, when this endure is without any, without impurities, like without any putative results, then it becomes Uttama Bhakti. Prabhuji, that is a pure devotion. That is what you explained. Hare Krishna.
Good, Mataji. Nice. Neha Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah, you can just give the important points so that we can proceed further.
Though many points I covered, I try to revise
Yeah.
few points. As Chanda Mataji told, there are 6 different sections. First one was Prayojana, then understanding.
Little louder, Mataji. Yeah.
As Chanda Mataji told, 6 different sections of Nectar of Devotion. First one was Prayojana, then we discussed definition of pure devotional service. That was Anya Abhilashita Shunyam. And we should be remembering Krishna in a favorable mood. That was Krishna, Anukulena Krishna Anushilanam. And then we discussed 6 characteristics of bhakti, then sadhana bhakti, and bhava bhakti, prema bhakti. And bhava bhakti, sadhana bhakti was cultivation and bhakti in practice. And bhava bhakti, when we try to go beyond man, when they go beyond minimum prescribed and they do devotional service in ecstasy, and prema bhakti is the topmost stage. And then we discuss the significance of Rupa Goswami for Gaudiya Vaishnavas. So we Gaudiya Vaishnava, we try to become the followers of Srila Rupa Goswami, and we are aspiring to be Rupanugas. And Srila Rupa Goswami met Mahaprabhu at Prayagraj, where Mahaprabhu instructed him for 10 days about science of Krishna consciousness. He is direct disciple of Mahaprabhu, and our Krishna consciousness movement is also based on his teachings. And then we uh, read about the mood of Srila Rupa Goswami. Although being a topmost Acharya, he thinks that he is unfit for this work. And Srila Prabhupada says that we should also try to adopt the same mood, and we should also follow the footsteps of our previous Acharyas. Then you discuss the importance of initiation, that actual bhakti starts when we get initiation from a bona fide Acharya. And the example that you gave was of JEE exam. And you also told that Guru Krishna Prasad Pai Bhakti Lata Beach. And then we discussed about three phase and introduction. That Krishna is embodiment of all rasas, as Mataji said, the 12 rasas, 5 direct and 7 indirect. Then we discussed Bhakti Samrit Sindhu term in detail, where Bhakti was devotional love, and out of devotional love, devotee performs services. And we all have basic propensity to love, but due to our conditioning, we use this love towards our material attachment. But we should do every duty, but by keeping Krishna in center, and that means we are watering the root. And Krishna is that one switch that brightens all. Then Rasa mellow, Rasa means mellow, and mundane mellow fades with time. It is chapalasuk, and it is oscillating. That we are struggling here. And Bhakti mellow is always fresh and eternal. And Amrita, as Mataji told, it is eternal and ever fresh. And Sindhu is the ocean of pleasure of this transcendental bliss. And then we discussed about the pure devotional service. After knowing the definition, how to engage. So the answer was Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam. So we should try to engage our senses in Krishna services. And devotees don't even desire 5 types of liberation. Those were Sailokya, Sashti, Samipka, Sarupya, Ekatvam. They only want association of devotees and service. And then we discussed 3 kinds of bhakti: sadhana, bhava, prema. And 6 characteristics were kleshadni, shubhada, moksha lagu, uh, uh, moksha laguta krit, Sri Krishna Akarshini, sudurlabha, and Sandra Nanda Visheshatma. And then we also discussed that Radha Rani is the epitome of pure devotional service. And Srila Rupa Goswami is Rupa Mandri, who is serving Radharani, and we are aspiring to be Rupanuga. So this was the Guru Parampara. Then 6 characteristics. I'll try to sum up, Prabhuji. The first one was Kleshagni, uh, which means release all the distresses. We are suffering because of our past karma, and the
Yeah.
suffering also
I'll
helps
just
in
elaborate on this. Now, 6 characteristics of pure devotional service. One who is practicing pure devotional service. 6 characteristics of this. One is Kleshagni. It vanquishes all the distress and sinful reactions. Yeah, so one, and then Subhada, it bestows all auspiciousness. So one who is practicing devotional service, everything is auspiciousness for him. There is nothing inauspicious. Yeah, there is no happiness, no distress. He is steady. And moksha lagutar, it makes liberation, even liberation insignificant. Everybody are after moksha, liberation. One who is engaging in devotional service, it is makes insignificant. So during these three chapters, when we are discussing, we get many references from the scriptures where devotees have not even bothered about liberations and they only need devotional service at the lotus feet of the Lord. And Sudurlabha, it is very, very rare, very rarely achieved. Sandrananda Visheshatma. It says intense, it gives intense transcendental bliss. And Sri Krishna Karshani. So it attracts even Krishna. We are all going after Krishna, visiting dhams, going after Krishna. When somebody is doing pure devotional service, Krishna comes to them. Yeah, this is very important. Right, Mataji. Any other thing you want to add?
Uh, uh, but last we discussed about two types of sadhana bhakti. Prabhuji, that is the only point. Vaidhi bhakti and Raganuga bhakti. Vaidhi bhakti is done according to regulative principles. No such attachment and spontaneous love is there. It is engaged by, like we try to follow the orders of Guru Parampara. And Raganuga Bhakti is where we serve out of natural love, and it is spontaneous because it's attracted to Krishna, it is attached to Krishna. And the conclusion was that Krishna consciousness adjusts all occupations, so we should not abandon our occupations and we should dedicate the results. We should try to keep Krishna in center. We should pray daily. And
The
yes,
essence
Prabhuji.
is to
I have a doubt.
always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. That is the essence. Yeah.
I have a doubt, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji. Yes, Mataji, please tell me.
Like it, under sadhana bhakti, raganuga sadhana bhakti is there, where it
Ah,
says the service out of natural love and attachment to Krishna. And we read in bhava bhakti also that out of natural love devotees serve. So what is the difference between raganuga sadhana bhakti and bhava bhakti?
yeah, see, what I got to know is Ragatmika Bhakti, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
What is your question?
What is the difference between raganuga sadhana bhakti and bhava bhakti?
Is there where exactly this breakup is coming? At this stage, whatever I've
Like
read is Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti. And then there is
yes, Prabhuji.
Ragatmika Bhakti.
Uh, Yes, Prabhuji. Like we discussed in starting of the chapter, na, that sadhana bhakti, bhava bhakti, and prema bhakti. And in
Yeah,
bhava bhakti, we studied that bhava bhakti is where the devotees perform out of natural love, out of
yes,
they are attached to Krishna. And in
yes.
raganuga bhakti, we also study that they are attached to Krishna. So, what is the difference?
See, Bhava Bhakti is much higher stage than Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti. Through this spontaneous devotional service now, we have seen many devotees not sticking to 16 rounds. They chant more than that. So they are not sticking to the minimum prescribed, right? And then we see many people are spontaneously chanting more than that. But are they in Bhava Bhakti stage? No. Still lot of Anartha Nivrutti has to happen. Then Nishta has to happen. Asakti has to happen. And then comes Bhava Bhakti. It is much higher. Right,
Okay,
Mataji?
Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Good. So here the pure devotional sublime, the pure devotional service is so sublime, satisfying the devotees engaged in Krishna service don't want anything besides that serving the Lord, not even Salokya, liberation, is what first chapter we learned. And then we discussed about the sadhana bhakti, right? And I was just meditating, how can we ensure, somehow by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, we have come into this moment. How can we ensure that we make our life the perfect as per our Guru Acharyas and go back to Krishna in this lifetime only? There are so many instructions. What to follow, what not to follow, what is going to ensure that at the end of this life we are going back to Krishna. I was just meditating, and then something I thought of sharing my little realization. The 5 key lessons from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. If we can consider it as 5 fingers and hold on to it as a fist, hold on to it, the lotus feet of the Lord, by following these 5 things, I feel going back to Krishna will be our rightful claim. So what are those 5? Please make a note of this. I've repeated many times, but this is very important. So what are the 3 instructions from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that we all have to do?
Jivere Daya,
Yes.
Vaishnava Seva,
Yes.
Namaruchi Prabhuji.
Yes. So the first thing is Namera Ruchi. Yeah. Namera Ruchi, Vaishnava Seva, and then Jivera Daya. This Namera Ruchi you get by association of devotees. Devotees who have higher taste for Harinam. Studying Srila Prabhupada books, knowing the glories of the holy name. And when we are rising in our taste for Harinam, what are we praying in Harinam is Seva, service, Vaishnava Seva. By chanting the holy name, when we start purifying our anarthas, then we start getting compassion towards all the living entities. We've been living such a selfish life all our life, only bothered about ourselves, our family, little extension our relatives, right? So these 3 things is extremely important. Namera Ruchi, Vaishnava Seva, Jivera Daya. Having got this, what is expected us to do? By doing this, what happens? Bharata Bhumite Hila Manusha Janma Yara, Janma Sartha Kari Karo Paropakara. So by following these 3 as our purpose of this life, what happens is Janma Sartak. We perfect our life. And then what is expected to do is giving this mercy to as many conditioned souls as possible. I was listening to one of the senior Vaishnava. What pleases Srila Prabhupada? 2 things. Accept as it is. Whatever Prabhupada has given, accept as it is without any of our mental speculations. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. Accept everything is absolute truth getting from Srila Prabhupada. So accept and then give. Give to as many conditioned souls. That is Krishna consciousness movement. So if we can hold on to these 5 instructions from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, going back to Krishna becomes our rightful claim. Yeah, this is a very big realization. Thought of sharing with you all. And talking about types of sadhana bhakti, we already discussed. There is no natural attraction. How many of us have the natural attraction to get up early in Brahma Muhurta, attend Mangalarti, do our sadhana in association of devotees? There is no natural attraction. But we are doing it as sadhana by the instructions of our acharyas through the scriptures and the knowledge, Shabda Pramana, what we get from our Siksha Guru. By doing this practice, Then what happens? This is what is being discussed, chapter 2 to 14. And then slowly the Raganuga Bhakti, the spontaneous devotional service, we rise to that. The natural attractions start coming in. And then we practice as a spontaneous. It is not to follow the rituals or regulative things. It comes naturally to us. Spontaneously, we start enjoying that. Now, at this stage, waking up in Brahma Muhurta, it's a big burden. Not for everybody, but that is how many of the practicing devotees. But then a stage will come naturally, without even alarm, people jump out of the bed to attend the Mangalarti, right? That is spontaneous devotional service. By doing this, what happens? Anartha Nivritti, Nishta, Asakti, Ruchi, and then comes Bhava Bhakti. Then Vaidi, the definition, these are all just refreshing what we discussed last class. When there is no attachment or spontaneous love, that is Vaidi Sadhana Bhakti. We are following the rules given by our acharyas. And essence, as said, by doing this, we are trying to remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. And there are evidences from the scriptures. Srimad Bhagavatam 11.27.49. Krishna is telling to Uddhava, the result of following rules is they worship me, they will be happy. So that happiness start, the blissful start coming. With that, that attachment will also increase. And the fruit of Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, if one regularly executes such service onto Supreme Personality of Godhead under the direction of spiritual master, he rises to the platform of serving the Lord with love. Presently, that love is lacking. Now we are moving to chapter 3. What are the eligibilities of a candidate for accepting devotional service? Is the knowledge and renunciation is needed to somebody to start practicing devotional service? And there are different grades of eligibility to advance. And we discuss about various 3 kind of devotees. What are the 3 kind of devotees?
Kanishta,
Yes, Kanishta,
Madhyama, and
yes, Kanishta, Madhyama, and Uttamadekari. We will discuss little bit on what are the categories of devotees, what are their qualities, characteristics, personalities, and who is the best among these. And then there is lot of impediments for us to practice Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. What are those impediments? So we'll discuss, we'll touch on all these important points through this chapter. So the first of all, the attraction for devotional service, the origin of devotional service, where it is coming is by Sadhu Sangha. Lava matra Sadhu Sangha sarva siddhi hoy. Yeah. So when we come in contact of such great devotees, we start getting attraction to devotional service. It is not necessary that we are still attached to our fruitive results. We are still attached to our material enjoyments, right? But still, what is the qualification? This is talking about the qualification. If one has little faith, he is a candidate to become a devotee. So when one is come in contact with such pure devotees, when we are serving, Satan Krupa Mahat Seva is the 2 things by which we get faith. We have discussed this. So when we get this and we are practicing Brahmananda Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasade Paye Bhakti Lata Beej. Chaitanya Charitamritam 19.151 sloka, right? So by the mercy of Guru and Krishna, we get that Bhakti Lata beach. This is a reference from Srimad Bhagavatam 11.20, chapter 20, shloka 8. It says, even partial detachment, not necessary that we are fully detached from fruitive activities. We are not there to that stage. Even with partial detachment to the fruitive activities, and even with the incomplete attachment to the love of the God, incomplete attachment to the devotion, still in association of devotees, one will become eligible to engage in devotional service. That is how we are all, somehow by the mercy of Guru and Krishna, we have come in contact with ISKCON Mangalore, Namanista Prabhu through these online courses. We are trying to rise, free up from, we are getting detached from our material conditioning and getting attached to the lotus feet of Krishna. This is a process and we are in the process, right? And then we discuss about 3 classes of devotee, and it is differentiated based on one's faith and knowledge. So what are the qualities? We discussed about Uttamadhikari. So what are the qualities of Uttamadhikari? How can one become an Uttamadhikari? Any qualities?
He doesn't have any personal desires, Prabhu.
Yeah, go on. Keep giving the answers. In fact, little Swadhyaya is done, then you get a lot of answer. Else, it is already there on the screen as well. Yes, who's that?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Uttamadhikari sees Krishna in everyone's heart and treats
Yes.
equally everyone.
Yes. Yes. So it is mentioned here in on the slide. He's expert in scriptures, expert in defending bhakti. Yeah. Perfect understanding and love of Krishna, firm faith, strictly follows. How did one become Uttamadhikari? How can one become Uttamadhikari? Yeah, it is said that Srila Prabhupada's purport. The first class devotee is one who has strictly followed all the rules and regulations. So we all have hope that by following all the rules and regulations, Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, by the mercy of Guru and Gauranga, we can also become Uttamadhikari. Yeah, so these are all things. So we have to hold on. I've told you the 5 fingers, 5 lessons from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. If we can practice this all our life, by mercy of the Lord and Guru, we can also become Uttamadhikaris. And then there is Madhyamadhikari. What is the definition of Madhyamadhikari? Anybody knows how do we define Madhyamadhikari? Hare Krishna.
They have firm faith in Supreme Personality of Godhead, but they're not expert in scripture.
Yes. So there is a definition in Srimad Bhagavatam, Shloka 11, Canto 11, chapter 246, Sloka. It says, Ishvaretad adineshu balisheshu dvishatshu cha prema maitri kripopeksha ya karoti sa madhyama. The 4 qualities of Madhyamadhikari, it's important for us. Prema, he loves the Lord. Maitri, he is friend of all the devotees of the Lord. He is not envious to the devotees of the Lord. Kripa, he shows mercy for people who are in Kanishtadhikari level, who are just beginning their Krishna consciousness journey. He shows mercy. And Apeksha, he disregard all the envious people who are envious to the Lord and devotees. So he differentiate that and stay away. Asatsang Tyaga. And then the third category is Kanishtadhikari. At least I can say someday if I can become Kanishtadhikari by the mercy of the Lord, that is my biggest achievement. Weak. The faith is not firm, no scriptural knowledge, easily influenced by strong argument, influenced by material needs. Most of the people who are practicing are in this category. Yeah, by practicing sadhana bhakti and by the mercy of the Lord and the pure devotees, we can rise above to Madhyamadhikari stage. In the pure devotees, advancement happens by the association with pure devotees. This is extremely important. Association is extremely important. And original eligibility is piety. That is, being religious, little faith is required. Without that faith, then what happens when we are not ready to listen with faith? Then we become antagonist. That is, we get into argumentative with our own mental speculation. We get into argumentative mode. And without this knowledge, what happens? They end up worshipping demigods and humans. And then they want to merge with the Lord. These are all materialistic ideas. Now we spoke about the eligibility. What is eligibility? Little faith is required. Attraction towards the Lord and serving the Lord. And that comes by association of devotees. And is knowledge and renunciation is needed to start our bhakti? Answer is no. Knowledge and renunciation will follow. We need to first associate with devotee and the faith. We should start following the regulative principles. Rest everything will follow. And the eligibility, how one advances by practicing Vaidhi sadhana bhakti and service and inspiration from the Shastra and Guru, Sadhu, Guru and Shastra. One rises in his faith in the scriptures. So this is how one advances. So we spoke about Uttamadhikari, Madhyamadhikari. There are Kanishtadhikari. What are the categories of Kanishtadhikari? What kind of people come to the Lord? There is a beautiful shloka in Bhagavadgita. Anybody remember what is that shloka? Talks about what kind of people come to the Lord.
Artha, Artharthi, Jignasu, Gnani,
Yes.
Prabhuji.
So which is the shloka? Anybody knows which is the shloka?
In 7th chapter, Prabhuji, Bhagavad Gita.
Yes. Chapter 7, shloka 16. Chaturvida bhajante mam janasu kirtino arjuna. Artho Jijnasur Artharthi Gnani Cha Bharat Sarba. But yeah, so Artho Arthati Jignasu Gnani. These are the four kind of people who will come to the Lord. And who is the best among these four category?
Gnani, Prabhuji.
Gnani, wise. We will see in our next slide why Gnani is top among these four categories. And when we spoke about Uttamadhikari, it is said that Uttamadhikari cannot preach. Uttamadhikari has to come to Madhyamadhikari stage to preach. Why is that? One of the Prabhu answered partially when he said about Uttamadhikari.
Prabhuji, because Uttamadhikari sees everyone equally, Prabhuji. He is equally disposed towards everyone. So it is not possible for him to go to the Kanishta level and preach them, Prabhuji.
You are little closer, but not the perfect answer.
Madhyama, he cannot go back to Madhyama level because Madhyama level people, they have more mercy on Kanishta Adhikari and they preach. Uttama Adhikari is gone up to that level. He does not understand anything apart from the Lord. So he is fixed at the lotus feet of the Lord. So he has no time to look at others or preach others.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
So, who is the author of Chaitanya Charitamrita?
Krishnadas
Krishnadas
Kaviraj
Kaviraj.
Goswami.
Yes, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, such a elevated Acharya. Do you know what he thinks about himself? He thinks he is lower than the stool, lower than the worm in the stool.
Worm in the stool.
And he thinks he is more sinner than Jagai Madai. This is what Uttamadhikari thinks. Uttamadhikari thinks everybody are devotees except himself. So how can he go and preach about Krishna to others when he thinks himself is such a fallen person and all are great devotees? He can't preach, right? So that is why it is said, and Madhyama Uttamadhikari, even though the Srila Prabhupada is such a great soul, the great Acharya, is a Uttamadhikari, no doubt about it. But he has to step down to preach the Krishna consciousness. There is so much of examples when he went to US. In fact, I was reading the glories. I was reading the glories of Srila Prabhupada. One of the disciple writes to Krishna, Prabhupada that I want to divorce my wife and marry some other lady. And Prabhupada agrees to this. Even though, as per our Vedic scriptures, there is no divorce. Everything is to be seen as our own karmas, prarabdha karmas, our own mercy of the Lord. We have to accept that and we have to live with that. But here, Prabhupada agrees to that. So one of the disciples asked this question to Srila Prabhupada, that Prabhupada, you have taught us that there is no divorce in our Krishna consciousness thing. Then how did you agree this? So Srila Prabhupada says, irrespective I agree or not, he would have divorced. And if I would have disagreed and if would have divorced, it would have become an even more bigger sin on his. So I did not want him to go through such a big sinful reactions. So that is the mercy of the Srila Prabhupada. So he has deviated so many rules and regulations to elevate conditioned souls like us. In fact, one more glory, one of the reporter asked Srila Prabhupada that, is this your last life? Srila Prabhupada says, yes, this is my last life. Not only mine, all my disciples, this is their last life. That is the glory of Srila Prabhupada. Praveen MS Prabhuji, you have raised the hand. You have any question?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yeah, I think I got the answer, Prabhuji. I was just wondering, in terms of the, Uttama, so there is it's been written now, Prabhuji, one can defeat opposition and all.
Yes.
So defeating opposition, so one has to be
Defeating
argumentative.
opposition. See, basically, what is defeating others? Any scriptural thing, somebody, a Mayavadi comes and says that there is no personal form of the Lord. So Uttamadhikari defeat them with their scriptural knowledge. So they are very strong in the scriptural knowledge. Can convince anybody. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has so many examples defeating so many Mayavadis and converting Mayavadis to the devotees of the Lord. So that is what it is mentioned as defeating others.
Okay, Prabhuji, what the question I meant is, Prabhuji, in case, if is it advisable to be to argue of a different view when preaching?
If you are asking for yourself, no, because we are still in Kanistadhikari stage.
Not for myself, Prabhuji, in general,
So
for
at
any preachers.
Uttamadhikari, somebody is saying Krishna is not the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There are so many Devi Devtas. Yeah. So even when we look back, our Vedic practice, it is through the argument, scriptural argument, they present that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the argument we are talking about here.
Okay,
Not
got
the
it.
argument me and you or anybody does in our office or relation at home. That is not the argument. Anything related to our philosophy, any deviation to our philosophy, the Uttamadhikari are strong in the scriptures, and with that scripture they will argue and defeat somebody who is deviating from the philosophy. That is what it is said here. Right, Prabhu?
Got it, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Yeah.
Because in one of the sessions of Namanishta, Prabhuji, I heard actually. I mean, from this point, that's where this question has come, Prabhuji. Generally, I don't argue. He made one statement actually.
Yes.
In what context?
Because if you listen to Namanishta Prabhu, though he is such an elevated guru, he consider himself still not so elevated. Again, arguing is for what? If somebody goes and says Namanishta Prabhu that Krishna is not the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Namanishta Prabhu will definitely defeat by giving all the scriptural references and prove that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Sure, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Again, there is different context, Prabhuji. Somebody, an atheistic demon, come to you and challenge. No point. No point trying to argue with them. Somebody who is really want to elevate in his spiritual knowledge, inquisitive, he is disillusioned, he is practicing some other religious practices, doing demigod worship, and he is arguing. For such person, giving the right knowledge is important. Right, Prabhu?
Sure, Prabhuji.
Thanks for
Sure. Got
bringing
it.
up this
Thank you,
question.
Prabhuji.
Now we are moving further to 4 varieties of this Kanishta Adhikari. So there are examples: the distressed, need for money, inquisitive, wise. So Gajendra Moksha Leela, we can see Gajendra was in great distress and he approached to the Lord. Dhruva, we all know the story, and inquisitiveness, sages of Naimisharanya, they ask all these questions to Sutta Goswami, the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, and then Kumaras. And why wise is topmost? Because they're attached to the Lord. They want to know more about the Lord. And at least have little knowledge of Shastras. The wise man do not need anything else other than this self-realization, the path for self-realization. So the wise man clearly understands that he is not the body, he is the spirit soul, he is the part and parcel of the Lord. His purpose is to engage in service of the Lord. So those are the wise men. So we are all still complaining about material situations, right? We are also distressed, we are complaining, we need material assets. We are still struggling with our sense enjoying propensities. It's a long way to progress. So the path of elevation. So we discussed about the wise man, and there are 3 other categories. In scriptures, it is said that all other categories are also known as Mahatmas. Anybody approaching the Lord who is distressed in his life, who is approaching the Lord to remove his distress, somebody who need material opulences, he approached the Lord for material opulences. So all those are considered as Mahatma because they are not deviating anywhere. They're not reaching out to any of the demigods. They're coming to the shelter of the Supreme Lord. So here, Gajendra Moksha is very, very, very important lesson we have to learn from this. Even after getting stuck under the clutches of crocodile, he is always praying for many thousands of years, it is said. So who was Gajendra in his previous birth? Anybody knows about this Leela? Gajendra
Indradumna
Moksha.
Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Indradumna Maharaj and Rishi Agastya had actually cursed him.
Yeah.
When Rishi Agastya had come to his ashram gate and he was asking for water, he was very thirsty. Indradumna Maharaj was busy in his dhyan or praying to the Lord. He could not hear that.
Yeah.
So Agastya Rishi said, sitting with the big ears like elephant, you cannot hear that I'm thirsty, I want water.
Yes.
So I curse you that in your next life, you take birth as an elephant.
Yes.
So
Thank you,
that
Mataji.
is how
And
he became.
crocodile,
Uh,
Gandharva Uhu. Okay, what he was doing is whenever these rishis were taking bath, he used to go under the water and trying to pull the leg of these rishis, and Devala Rishi curse him that you become a crocodile. Yeah. Sometimes what we need to understand is such curse of such great sages is also a benediction, boon, because both crocodile as well as elephant got delivered by the Lord. Similarly, what is our practical application? When we are going through tough situations in our life, rather than complaining about our tough situation, if we see it as a mercy of the Lord and think that I deserve more, but it is by the mercy of the Lord I am just going through this, and if it is so desire of the Lord, I'm happy to go through this situation. In that mode, if you are holding on to the Lord, you will also get delivered. Any other examples where there are many good examples where the sages cursing somebody and they get delivered? In line 2.
The sons of Kuvera, Prabhu,
Yes.
cursed by Narada Muni.
Yes, Narada Muni cursing sons of Kuvera, Nala Kuvera and Manigriva, the Damodara Leela. Such a good pastime. Now, talking about
the Lord,
impediments. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
There was a king by name Mriga. He
Mriga.
was cursed by one of the Brahmana because he had donated one already donated cow to some
Yes.
other Brahmana.
Yes. And he becomes lizard. Yes, thank you, Mataji. So, these are the things. There's so much to cover. I don't know how much I'm going to cover. Let me continue with this flow. And I wanted to cover up to chapter 5. There is so much to discuss. Let us see. So the impediments to advancement. What are the impediments? Yeah. Our impediments is either we want to get liberated, mukti. Many are practicing for liberation, mukti. But at our stage, we have still not reached to that level. We are still struggling with our bhukti, enjoyment propensities. At least I can tell to myself that that unflinching faith, the love is still not there to Krishna. I'm practicing because somehow by the mercy of the devotees, I've come into this Krishna consciousness movement, and by studying the scriptures and listening to the Siksha Guru, I am now slowly realizing that this is not the place to be. Dukkhalayam ashashvatam. There is a place where it is eternal joy, blissful. So maybe that is why I'm practicing. I don't want to be in this distress. I want to go to a place where I'm free from all this distress. And eventually what happens with the purification, we know the glories of the Lord, and that love to the Lord will also come within. So the pure devotion is free from all the material as well as impersonal motives. The pure devotees need only service to the Lord. There are so many examples. And here there are many examples from the scriptures. When we read through this chapter, the Lord Kapila is telling to Devoti in Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 3, chapter 25, Shloka 34, that my devotees refuses all liberation and only want service. And Dhruva Maharaj is saying the impersonalist cannot approach the lotus feet of the Lord. So does the fruitive workers. And then it is said that with this practice, one who is free from all these material attachment, material anxieties, such people are getting elevated and getting eligible to get into the pure devotional service. Such people are the ones we discussed. Pandita Samadarshinaha, Shloka 5.18. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Kaviyastini Suni Chaiva Swapakecha Pandita Samadarshinaha. And when we rise in this, they understand the prayers from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Sikshastakam, na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavita va jagadisha kamaye, mama janmani janmanishware, bhavatat bhakti rahitu kitvai. Yeah, we have to rise to that stage. Further, Srila Rupa Goswami says, one who is hankering for the material enjoyments as well as the liberation, it is compared to as witches and ghosts. The material enjoyment and liberation. And Bilva Mangala Thakur, he says, when I'm engaged in devotional service without any expectation for any material gains or sense enjoyment, even the liberation will stand in front of my door, folding my hands to serve. And Uddhava in Srimad Bhagavatam 3.4.15 sloka, he says that pure devotees reject dharma, artha, kama, moksha, and they need unflinching devotional service. And here there is one more reference we need to understand. As a material father or a mother, our kids don't have to ask anything to us. We will plan their 20 years of future right now, right? Which school they are going to join, which subjects they are going to take up, which college they are going to take up, how are they going to move further. Till their wedding, everything is being planned by the parents. What to say about our Supreme Father. So Lord Kapila says here, my devotees do not hanker for any material benediction or liberations. They only want to glorify my Nama Rupa Guna Leela. Even though they don't want anything, here the Lord is guaranteeing that still I give them my supreme abode. So we don't have to ask for anything to the Lord. We have to only ask. What did yesterday's class, Namanista Prabhu, one of the qualities, one of the glories of Srila Prabhupada, such a elevated Acharya, what he's telling, all he's asking is to recollect that I am a tiny servant of you. And how can he recollect this? By the mercy of his spiritual master. This is the mood of great Acharyas. So the stages to begin Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, we need mercy of the devotees, serving the devotees. And as we advance, what is important? Knowing the knowledge and faith in scriptures. So that is what we are practicing, studying Srila Prabhupada books, attending these classes. And practice pure devotional service, liberation from bodily concept and all desires, abandoning all desires of mukti and bhukti. So this way we can engage in pure devotional service. Now we are quickly moving into chapter 4. Devotional service surpasses all liberation. Yeah, so the central theme is the pure devotional service to the Supreme Lord is far superior to any of the liberation we get. And the devotees value only service and association of the devotees and Lord, not any heavenly pleasures or mystic perfection or merging into the Lord's existence. So I said the 5 kind of liberation we already discussed. Let us not spend more time here. So devotional service surpasses all these 5 kind of liberations. In the devotional service, I said those who are eligible to practice devotional service reject bhukti and mukti. This is the theme of this chapter, and there are many references from the scriptures. So here Prithu Maharaj in Srimad Bhagavatam 4.20-24, he says, would not desire liberation without the chance to hear the glories of the Lord, chant the glories of the Lord. And Prithu Maharaj is asking millions and tongues and ears to glorify the Lord and hear the glories of the Lord. And Bharata Maharaj, he gave up all his comforts. The goddess Lakshmi offered all the opulences, but he rejected that. Similarly, there is a reference in Srimad Bhagavatam 6.11.25. So you can make note of this. You can go through this for a detailed explanation where it mentions the Vritrasura. He says, I may get heaven or promotion to any topmost heavenly planet, but all I want is association of devotees and service of the Lord. And further, there are many more references where Prahlad, he says that serving the Lord, he gets everything, including whatever the joy you get from the liberation or material elevation, whatever it is all there in serving the Lord. It is like an analogy Prabhupada says, if you already have 2000 rupees note, you get all that you can buy from your 5 rupees or 10 rupees, right? So it is already there. And Indra here, he says to the Lord that you are the Supreme Soul, you are the Paramatma within us, and you are the actual owner of everything. We have discussed the analogy in Bhagavad Gita that we, the soul, are the owner of this body, and the Lord as the Super Soul is the owner of all the living entities, right? So he is the Supreme Master, Enjoyer, Proprietor. Bhoktaram Yagna Tapasam. Yeah, Shloka 5.29. Bhoktaram Yagna Tapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Surdam Sarvabhutanam Yatvamam Shantim Rachati. This is the peace formula Prabhupada says. One who knows that Krishna is the maintainer of us. When we are surrendering to the Lord's supreme will, then there is no anxiety for us. When a father lifts a child and throws up in the air, the child is enjoying. It is not in anxiety, right? So because the child is completely in the hands, it has surrendered to his father. Similarly, when we are surrendered to the Lord, there is no anxiety. There are many other examples. Nagapatni says, anyone who gets dust off your lotus feet does not care a fig for anything. So once we get the lotus feet, the dust of lotus feet, they don't care anybody else. And Gajendra Moksha. Gajendra says, I am asking for a favor, but I know devotees don't ask except your glorification. So this is where the distressed praying to the Lord to remove the distress is compared here. There's a beautiful sloka from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 3, Sloka 20 and 21, which says, Ekantino yasya kanchanartam vanchanti ye vai bhagavat prapannaha atyadbhutam tacharitam sumangalam gayanta ananda samudra magnaha tam akarshanam brahma paramparesham avyaktam adhyatmika yoga gamyam atindriyam sukshmam ivati duram Anantam Adyam Paripurnam Ide. So somebody can read this translation for me? Anybody who has not participated yet?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, anybody who has not spoken so far can take the chance to read this translation.
May I, Prabhuji?
Yes, go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Unalloyed devotees who have no desire other than to serve the Lord, worship Him in full surrender, and always hear and chant about His activities, which are most wonderful and auspicious. Thus, they always merge in an ocean of transcendental bliss. Such devotees never ask the Lord for any benediction. I, however, am in danger. Thus, I pray to that Supreme Personality of Godhead who is eternally existing, who is invisible, who is the Lord of all great personalities, such as Brahma, and who is available only by transcendental Bhakti Yoga. Being extremely subtle, he is beyond the reach of my senses and transcendental to all external realization. He is unlimited, he is the original cause, and he is completely full in everything. I offer my obeisances unto him. Hare
Yes.
Krishna.
So from this Gajendra Moksha, we understand that at our stage, we have still not raised to the Madhyama or Uttamadhikari stages. At our stage, let us not have duplicity. Even if we have to be relieved from any danger, we can always pray to the Lord to please help me. I'm going through this difficult situation. Please help me. There is another beautiful reference to such this sloka from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 3, Sloka 10. Akama sarva kamo va akama sarva kamo va moksha kama udaradi tivrena bhakti yogena yajate purusham param. It says, a person who are broader in intelligence, whether is full of material desire, without material desire, or desiring liberation, must by all means worship the Supreme Lord. That is more important. Worship the Lord like Dhruva Maharaj wanted a bigger palace, like Gajendra, who is praying to the Lord to get relieved from this crocodile. Eventually, they realize that the love of Godhead is far more. We have not reached to that stage, but at least let us be sincere in our prayers and let us rise to that stage where we do not worry or bother or ask for anything else other than serving the Lord and His devotees. So somebody can read this, some of the references of devotees rejecting the bhukti and mukti. There are more references here.
Shall I read, Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji, go ahead.
References of devotees rejecting bhukti and mukti. Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, 87th chapter, 21st Shloka. Shrutis, the Vedas personified, your devotees have rejected all comforts and fully merged in devotional service. SB 11.20.34, Krishna to Uddhava. My devotees won't even accept four kinds of spiritual opulences. Srimad Bhagavatam 10.14.14. My devotee does not want Brahma, Indra's post, or eight mystic perfections. Srimad Bhagavatam 12.10.6. Markandeya has attained pure love, therefore does not aspire any benediction. Damodarashtakam in Padma Purana.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
So these are all references from the scriptures. Shrutis, the Vedas personified, it prays to the Lord that, dear Lord, it is very difficult to understand your scriptural knowledge. Hence you have appeared through your holy names, yeah, through your Nama Guna Rupa Guna Leelas. Through this, we are able to understand this. It is very difficult to know, right, the pastimes of the Lord. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam kaschin mam veti tatvatah. It says Out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor to be the perfection, and one who have achieved perfection, hardly once one knows me in truth. So it is extremely difficult to know the Lord, the glories of the Lord. So that is why we should be so grateful to the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, our Guru Acharyas, who have given Harinam to us. By chanting the holy name, everything will be revealed. We can't understand, we have no knowledge, we have no time to study all the scriptures. The essence of all the Vedas is knowing the Lord. And how can we know the Lord? By chanting the holy names. And then there are further references. Hayashira Pancharatra, it says that devotees reject Artha Kama Moksha, Dharma Artha Kama Moksha in favor of the devotional service of the Lord. And then it says, I have heard even those liberated have to become a devotee, and they are very, very rare. Even anybody who is getting liberated. Yeah, say Srimad Bhagavatam 6.145. And Kunti's prayers. If Paramahamsas alone can know you, I am less intelligent. How can I know you? So when Bhavagrahi Janardana, Paramahamsas are those who are very learned through all the scriptures. So what is the way out for us who are less intelligent? So just by the devotion, Krishna revealed Bhavagrahi. And Atma Rama verse. Atma Ramascha Muneyo Nigranta api urukrame kurvantya ituki bhaktim itham bhuta guno hari. So it says, even the liberated souls, even those who are liberated, are attracted by the qualities of the Lord. So here, the 5 kind of liberations we discussed, devotees are not interested, and especially the first one, which is merging with the Lord. There are some devotees, they accept some of the other liberations, like living in the same planet, the bodily features, same opulences, constant association of the Lord. But what is rejected by the devotees is the first one, merging with the Lord. And there is further higher category of devotees, that is devotees from Vrindavana, who only want the Krishna, the two-handed form of the Lord, and stay in Goloka Vrindavana. So the key takeaway from this chapter is not the goal. Liberation is not the goal, but loving service to the Lord. And the topmost is the sweetest pastime in Vrindavana, surpassing all other associations or benedictions. So we have 10 more minutes. We can quickly complete this chapter 5. It's a small chapter. Let us quickly look into it. So this talks about the purity of devotional service. Srila Prabhupada says, as long as one is materially inclined, desiring to merging with the effulgence, one cannot get the real pure devotional service. There is a reference from Bhagavadgita chapter 2, shloka 44, which says, Bhogaishwarya prasaktanam taya parata chetasam vyavasayatmika buddhim samodo na vidyate. So in those whose mind is too attached to the sense enjoyment or material attachments, opulences, so the determination to practice devotional service will never come. And one more important, the devotional service is transcendental to the material qualification and not limited to any class, country or society. It is open to all, transcendental and causeless. One more important thing, executed without any hope or gain, and most importantly, cannot be checked by our material circumstances. We have discussed that The devotional service what we practice should be ahituki apratihata, right? It should be uninterrupted, unmotivated. It cannot be checked by material circumstances. You get up, do your sadhana tomorrow. After 2 days, you take a break for another 3 days. Again, you come, again, you take a break. Your material circumstances should not be checked your progress. This is extremely important. We have discussed this. We should not mix up our material circumstances with our spiritual progress, whereas most of us do. And further, the central theme of this chapter 5, is bhakti does not need preliminary qualification of taking birth in a pious family or ritualistic or purification process or varnashrama dharma. It is open for all. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur had to fight hard to establish this, that pure devotional service is open for all. And there are scriptural references from Padma Purana. It says only quality. This is a very good example. How can we connect this? If you want to rise in your sadhana bhakti, only thing is required is your desire. And Prabhupada gives a beautiful analogy here that during the Magha Masa, cold month, the desire to get up and take bath is what is required. So that desire and attraction to progress in bhakti is what is required. Similarly, in Skanda Purana, it says in Mayurdhvaj, in the region Mayurdhvaj, low caste people also purified than highest brahmanas by practicing bhakti. So these are all references. And one more important analogy it is given in Hari Bhakti Vilas. This can be a question in your close book, that just like a bell metal turn into gold by coming into association of mercury, similarly the low born character can also rise in pure devotional service by coming in contact with highly saintly people. Janmana Jayate Shudra, we are all born Shudras, but when we have come in contact with devotees, we can also rise to the Brahmin and further above to become a pure devotee someday by the mercy of the Lord. And it says that rituals, there is no rituals. If, for example, by mistake, if one is fallen down, many of us fall down, right? None of us are steady in our bhakti. So what is the way out? What is the prayaschitta? We learn from our scriptures to rise in pure devotional service. There is no separate rituals required. All which is needed is whatever time you fall down, one more time you get up. When you look back, you can realize so many times you have fallen down. It is easy when our mind is conditioned. Mind will continuously to show you that you are not qualified for this. You cannot practice bhakti. You are somebody out of place. Your mind will continue to show this, and we will also try to agree this because our intelligence is not up to that mark. With where this intelligence come in association of devotees by learning these scriptures with that knowledge. Now we got this knowledge. Every time we feel guilty that I have fallen down, all you need to do is get up, associate with devotees, continue your sadhana. If you can do this all your life, going back to Krishna will be your rightful claim. This doesn't give us license to fall down again and again. Please do not quote me wrongly. This does not give license to fall down again and again. But by mistake, if you fall down, only way is correct your mistake, continue your sadhana. Yeah, this is a very important thing. And then it talks about the varnashrama dharma. Practicing varnashrama dharma. In this, there are various scriptures, references. You can take a screenshot. So you can read through these quotes where there are a lot of scriptures which says that even if not, even if one not following his occupational duty but surrendered his life to Krishna, yeah, he can elevate in his Krishna consciousness. It is not other way around. That is not surrendering to Krishna and following all your varnashrama dharma, you are not going to rise. Again, it can be very easily misquoted, telling that in Bhagavad Gita we have learned to do our prescribed duties. Here it is said that not occupational duty but surrender to Krishna. So here we need to clearly understand the context. Vice, not true, vice versa. Okay. And further references. Rishabhadeva, if engaged in varnashrama dharma but not in pure devotional service, it is wasting of life. So what are we trying to understand here? By doing our prescribed duty, keeping Krishna in center, we have to purify our anarthas, our false ego, false pride, and pray to the Lord that we have to rise from karma yoga to bhakti yoga. This endeavor is required. If somebody is continuously doing his prescribed duty and then he is not keeping Krishna in center and not offering the fruitive result to the Lord and enjoying, then it is wasting of the life. So there are other examples as shown here. It is all talking about there is no debt. Now we are all indebted to our family, society, demigods, ancestors. But what it is said is, if we have surrendered to the Lord, we need not, even this debt is also taken away from us. Again, this is at pure devotional stage. We need to continue to do whatever we are doing. And when we are rising to the pure devotion stage, all these debts is also waved off. It is like pouring the water to the root, all others are taken care. It is filling the stomach. Prabhupada gives an analogy. When the stomach is full, all other limbs are also taken care. So this is the lesson we have to take away from this. And then finally, good, we are almost about to conclude. So the summary of this chapter 3 as well as 4 and 5, eligibility for accepting devotional service. What is the eligibility? There is no prerequisite for beginning devotional service. All it is needed is little faith and mercy of the devotees, and advancement in Vaidhi sadhana bhakti depends on one's endeavors to learn the knowledge, scriptures, rise in their intelligence and rise in their faith. And then the fourth chapter, pure devotional service, free from desire for liberation and sense gratification. So we learned through various examples that mukti and bhukti, we have to be free from this and surrender to the Lord, only aspire for the devotional service. And then we learned the devotees of Krishna in Vrindavana even reject all kind of liberation, even the personal liberation of being in Salokya, being in Vaikuntha planets, they are not bothered. They want to be in 200 form and in the Vraja Leela. And finally, this chapter 5, we understood that for practicing pure devotional service, there is no prerequisite like one has to take birth in a Brahmana family or purification through Vedic rituals or practice Varnashrama Dharma. Bhakti is not dependent upon any of these three prerequisite. Devotional service, we need to understand it is the dharma. Savai pumsa paro dharmo yato bhakti adokshaje. So our dharma is to engage in devotional service. Therefore, both the process of bhakti and eligibility for bhakti are independent of consideration of birth, caste, community, or any other process. So with this, with 1 minute overrun, by mercy of the Lord, I could complete this chapter. Thank you very much. for your patient listening. It may be little, I may be running through fast. I try to slow down as much as possible through this chapter. It may be flying above your head. Maybe I'm not sure how much you are able to grasp these philosophies. I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible. What is important is your swadhyaya. When you come prepared to the class, you can grasp more, revise before coming to the class. And anyway, these sessions are being recorded. Please listen, read through Srila Prabhupada book, Nectar of Devotion. When you're reading, even I am learning so much. As said, I am not the expert of Nectar of Devotion, but by reading through, there is so much of knowledge we are able to get. It is not reading, it's a wrong word, it's studying. And it is really helping me. And whatever I am able to learn with my little realization, I'm trying to impart to you. But for you to fix up, it is your endeavors to read through, study Srila Prabhupada books, study Nectar of Devotion, and come prepared for the class. So with this, thank you for patient listening. Any quick questions from whatever we discussed, or any key learning realization we can discuss for a couple of minutes. And thank you very much. I see full participation, full attendance of all the devotees who regularly join. Thank you very much. It is not easy to come out of our comfort zone. Monday evening, you are all busy with your occupational duties at home, but still you could take out time. Thank you very much. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Dandavad Pranam.
Krishna Prabhuji, thank you.
Yeah. Vancha kalpatarubhasya cha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, गुरु महाराज की जय, परंपरा की जय. Hope you all marked your attendance, respective attendance. Thank you. Look forward to meet you next Sunday.
Krishna,
Please
thanks,
come
Prabhu.
prepared. Maybe we will take 6 to 8 chapter. Please come prepared so we can have more interaction. Without interaction, it becomes one-sided. So it is not helping you nor helping me. Your own attention will not be there for 1.5 hours, whatever I'm giving. It should not become one-sided. If you want to take the best out of it, you have to come prepared to the class. Okay? Hare Krishna, Dandavad Pranam.
Hare Krishna, thanks, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.